Let's take a look at how with Office 365 and SharePoint you can create document and records management solutions that delight business users. This video is based on real-life experience of a diverse range of organizations, including a not-for-profit charity, the legal department of a shipping company, an energy utility, an insurance company, an industry association, and 2 law firms. The things that delighted business users in those organizations included making the document and record store easy to visualize and navigate, minimizing metadata entry by users as emails and attachments are saved, the ability to work in familiar Microsoft Office applications such as Outlook and Word, custom tailoring of search for documents and emails, integrating with line of business applications in a way that did not require extra effort on behalf of the users, secure access to documents from anywhere on any device, and the ability to edit those documents collaboratively. Let's refer to these as the key success factors. A number of the organizations we are looking at were using SharePoint Online as part of their Office 365 tenancy. Others relied on Premises SharePoint Server. In all cases, they were making use of MacroView software. MacroView significantly enhances the functionality and user experience of SharePoint when you are on a Windows desktop. Let's look at the first of the key success factors, which was making the document store in SharePoint easy to visualize and navigate. The Synod of the Uniting Church used SharePoint Online to create a records management solution. One of the things their users liked best about the new solution was the way the MacroView DMF software made visualizing the structure of the SharePoint Online tenant as familiar as visualizing the folder structure of a Windows file share. They could then drag and drop to this structure to save new emails and attachments to the SharePoint store. Let's see this in action. We're in Outlook 2016. The MacroView software has been installed, so we can see the MacroView pane on the right side of the main Outlook window. We have a hybrid document store with both on-premise and SharePoint Online areas, as well as OneDrive for Business areas. When we click to expand, MacroView discovers all the site collections for which we have permission and displays them for us. We can then continue to click and expand just like we would if we were using Windows File Explorer. When we click a folder or a document set or a library, we see the default view of that area, and we can get formatted previews of the files that are stored within that area. Let's save this email, which has 2 PDF attachments. We can do that by simply dragging and dropping. The email is now stored in SharePoint. Here is our newly saved email together with a formatted preview. This brings us nicely to our second key success factor, which is about minimizing the amount of metadata that users have to enter as they save emails and attachments. This worked well for the users in the legal department of Quock Shipping. In their solution, a lot of metadata was captured automatically, including the attributes of emails, file system properties such as last modified and author, the attributes of the matter, area of law and managed by and so on, and also as they dragged into a folder, the value of document type was captured automatically. We're back in Outlook. Let's save this attachment to SharePoint by dragging and dropping to the contract folder within a document set. MacroView DMF has shown the currently logged in user as the default value of the person or group column called author. This is something that standard SharePoint cannot do. The value of document type has also been defaulted to the name of the folder that we've dropped into, the contract. We're happy with these 2 automatic metadata items, so let's click OK to complete the save. Our attachment is now saved in SharePoint Online. If we click the contract folder, we see the newly saved item at the top of the list. If we right-click and check Properties, we see those automatic default values again. If we click Details, we see the attributes of the matter that have been recorded automatically, and also a bunch of automatically recorded file system attributes. Checking the properties of the email that we saved previously, we see that MacroView has automatically recorded the attributes of the email, such as the attachment count, conversation topic, from, importance, and so on. MacroView makes metadata recording as automatic as possible because that's what end users prefer. SharePoint is a web-enabled document store, but that doesn't mean that you need to use the SharePoint web browser UI in order to work with documents and emails stored in SharePoint. On the contrary, our experience is that users, while they're on a Windows desktop, prefer to be able to work in familiar Microsoft Office applications. We've seen how users at Uniting Church Synod and Quack Shipping were able to work in Outlook. The users at Accelerate Energy liked the way MacroView let them have the same good experience also when they worked in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Adobe Reader and Acrobat, and in a Windows application called MacroView DMF Explorer. Let's check out that experience. In particular, let's see how it allows them to search for documents in SharePoint without leaving familiar Office applications. Here in Word 2016, installing MacroView has added convenient Open from SharePoint and Save As to SharePoint buttons to the Home tab of the ribbon. The resulting dialog has the same modes of operation as we saw in Outlook, including the ability to search for documents across our SharePoint Online tenant. Let's look for all documents that contain the word SMART. The SharePoint Online search engine has found 13 results. We can click to get a formatted preview of any result and narrow the list of results by using this metadata column. So we're now searching by both metadata and content. Let's open this one. Our document is opened in Word, and MacroView has arranged for the unique document ID and current version number to be displayed both in the heading of the Word session and also in the footer of that Word document. Let's make modifications and close our document. We're prompted to save unsaved changes, and now MacroView presents an attractive dialog of version control options. The new version number is automatically updated into the footer of the document as it's saved back to SharePoint Online. The same convenient and attractive open and save experiences are available also in Excel and PowerPoint. Overall, it's a much better user experience than the integration with SharePoint that ships out of the box with Microsoft Office. The ability to search for documents and emails while you're working in familiar Office applications is good, but it's even better if that search can be tailored to reflect the way your organization uses metadata. Aegis Insurance used a combination of SharePoint plus MacroView to replace their previous Documentum solution. Aegis took good advantage of the way MacroView supports custom search panels. They created this custom search panel to allow their underwriting team to search for documents using metadata attributes that were relevant to underwriting. Let's see some further custom search panels in MacroView. We're going to do that using MacroView DMF Explorer, which is a separate Windows app, popular with those users who like working with Windows File Explorer. Here's the same keyword search that we did earlier in Microsoft Word. If we drop the list here, we can see various search types that have been added to the menu, including contract documents. Similar to the keyword search, except we've also added document ID, document author, and various fields relevant to contracts, contract type, date, expiry, manager, and so on. To create a custom search panel such as this one, a suitably authorized user simply needs to edit a central XML definition file. Our next key success factor also comes from Aegis Insurance. They integrated their claims and document management systems by utilizing a MacroView DMF feature called the Protocol Handler Link. By clicking a hyperlink in a claim system record, Aegis users were jumped automatically into MacroView DMF and navigated to the area in SharePoint that contained the documents and emails that had been stored for the claim. We can see this technique illustrated in this YouTube video.
We're in Microsoft Dynamics CRM in a record for a project. The project record contains a hyperlink labeled Documents and Emails. When we click that hyperlink, we are automatically jumped into MacroView DMF Explorer, auto-navigated to the area that corresponds to the project. You can now work with the documents and emails that have already been recorded for that project in our SharePoint store. The key to this technique is using a protocol handler prefix on our hyperlink in the CRM record. It's a way to integrate your line of business and document management systems that's both easy to implement and popular with end users.
Mountain States Employer Council used a different technique for integrating with their line of business system. They customized the MacroView metadata capture or profiling dialog so that details for a new project record could be created in their CRM system as part of saving the first document for a new project. This is the metadata capture dialog for MSEC. Part of this dialog involves retrieving details for an existing member matter from their CRM system. If it was a new matter, there will be no details to be retrieved. So instead of having to exit this environment and go to the CRM system, MSEC customized the profiling dialog of MacroView with this extra button. Clicking the button brings up a sub-dialog to allow details for the new matter to be captured in the CRM system and used as a metadata value for the new document. This enabled a 60% reduction in user keystrokes. No wonder MSEC users saw it as a major advantage of their new SharePoint-based document management solution. From the point of view of business users, a major advantage of SharePoint Online is that documents stored there can be retrieved securely from anywhere on any device. Simmons & Stewart created a document management solution using a combination of SharePoint Online plus MacroView. While working in the office, Simmons & Stewart users made use of MacroView running on their Windows desktop applications, but when they left the office, they were able to use SharePoint and OneDrive apps on iOS and Android devices, Office apps running on an iPad, and the native SharePoint web browser UI to access the documents that were stored in SharePoint Online. The result is a nice blend of efficient handling of large volumes of work while in the office, combined with access from anywhere when outside the office. Our final key success factor is that documents stored in SharePoint can be edited collaboratively using the latest versions of Microsoft Word. Microsoft also refers to this collaborative editing as co-authoring. Essentially, multiple users open the document simultaneously and each sees edits performed by other users every time they click the Save button. Law firm Webb Henderson combined MacroView with on-premises SharePoint Server to create a document management solution. Webb Henderson users take advantage of collaborative editing in order to handle fast-moving matters in a timely fashion. Documents are opened from SharePoint using MacroView and then edited collaboratively in Office, and finally saved back to SharePoint, taking advantage of the version control options of MacroView that we saw earlier in the presentation. As we have seen, MacroView significantly enhances the functionality and user experience of SharePoint when you are on a Windows desktop. The result is that MacroView plus SharePoint enables the creation of document and records management solutions that are well adopted by business users. For more information about MacroView solutions, contact MacroView using these details.